Joe Biden is working on something behind the scenes that I want to talk to everybody about. This is from the Daily Beast. They say, Biden campaign is secretly building a Republican group. You don't want something like this out on the street before it needs to be, said one GOP operative. It just makes it much harder to do. So, when you read the article, they list the names that are, that could potentially be part of this. One of them is Jeff Flake, famous anti-Trump senator from Arizona. He, of course, is not in the Senate anymore because he knew he would get obliterated if he ran again because Trump is very popular within the Republican Party, and he was standing up against Trump from within the Republican Party. Now, I need to be clear on that front. He wasn't standing up for him, and saying, like, Mr. Trump, stop bombing all these countries overseas. No, it was all, like, tonal stuff. And he's so uncivil, and he's so, not polite, and he has no decorum. This was the kind of stuff that Jeff Flake was concerned about. Bill Kristol's another one who's named. This guy right here, famous neocon. Michael Steele, former RNC head, who's actually a very nice guy. I met him at Politicon. He's a really nice guy. I mean, I disagree with him on virtually everything, but very, kind person to talk to. By the way, this is why I don't like meeting these people, because it's like I want to have that comfortable distance where I can be objective about them, as opposed to you get to know them on a personal level and it's like, oh, they're actually a really nice guy, and then it's like, now it's harder to criticize them. So that's why believe me, the times I've gone to Politicon, I've tried my best to let me hide in a corner and not talk to anybody. But Michael Steele is a very nice guy. Anyway, and then also longtime operative Steve Schmidt. He's, the McCain operative, McCain staffer who got us Sarah Palin. So, and now he's on MSNBC and he plays the role of anti-Trump Republican. So here's the thing about this, Ben. Am I mad that Joe Biden is building a Republican group? No, actually, I'm not at all. I think the whole point of an election is to win the election, so you try to get as much support as you could possibly get from everybody. You reach out to everybody. In the case of Biden, the issue here is not that he's reaching out to Republicans. That's fine. The issue here is that he's reaching out to them on their terms, and the reason why people like Bill Kristol support Biden is because they know he's going to continue the wars. So Jeff Flake probably likes Biden because Biden is going to be more polite and play the fakeness game better than Trump does. So that's probably why Flake likes him. In the case of Bill Kristol, it's just, I don't think Biden will stop our wars. He'll continue them, and that's what Bill Kristol cares about. So it's like, sure, I'll support the Democrat that will continue the wars. Trump will continue the wars too, but Biden will as well, and obviously Kristol's anti-Trump for similar reasons to Flake. And then you have Steve Schmidt, same thing, anti-Trump Republican. So in other words, it's not like Biden is setting up this Republicans for Biden group. And the idea is, I'm going to reach out to you to materially improve your life. If you're like a working person, for example, there are plenty of working people who are Republicans. Okay, well, I, a Democrat, can represent you. I will fight for you. I'll fight for your wages. I'll fight for your health care. That's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's reaching out to this contingent of voters, which isn't even a real contingent. There are very, very, very few anti-Trump Republicans. They're a creation of elitist media. I'm serious about that. Guys, Trump, depending on what poll you look at, has anywhere between 80 and 90% approval rating within his own party. So, I mean, this is like, they love him. They love him. It's like trying to, in the FDR era, get Democrats to leave FDR. It's like slim pickings, son. So he's reaching out to the exact kind of Republicans that it doesn't make sense to reach out to. And he's reaching out to them on their terms. And he's doing it before there was any unifying of the left. And that's a huge problem. It's like politics 101 is don't abandon your base. And there's a way to not abandon your base while also getting the support of independents and disaffected Republicans. You could absolutely do that. There's a false dichotomy when people say, oh, you have to pick. But the way to do that is with working class politics appealing to everybody to materially improve their lives, like Bernie Sanders. So Bernie's message, the same message that applies to the base, can apply and get the Republicans on his side and get independents on his side. But this is not what Biden is doing. It's all the elite class. It's all the never Trump Republicans who still have every single terrible policy belief that they had before, and Biden is going to meet them doing those policies. So Biden is very likely to continue the Wall Street deregulation, very likely to not touch the tax code for the rich and leave it as is, and very likely to continue the wars. And I think that those are the main things for the anti-Trump Republicans. Like, keep the market deregulated, keep my taxes low, and keep the wars going, and then I'm with you. And that's where Biden is going to meet these people, which is why this is nonsense, and why this is terrible, and why this is spitting in the eye of the base. Whereas in the case of somebody like Bernie, he could reach out to the Democratic base by fighting for a living wage and Medicare for all. And that same message could apply to disaffected Republicans, working class people, because they lost their health care and their wages are low. So there's a difference in how you reach out and on what terms you're reaching out and who exactly you're trying to get. I'd much rather have somebody get a former Republican, a 2 times Obama voter who flipped to Trump and now flips back to the Democrats because they feel like, the Democrats are going to fight on trade better and I don't want my job outsourced. That I would like a lot more than, hey, Bill Kristol, I'll keep the wars going, so let me reach out to you. Let's set up a group that has you in it. So, yeah, this is classic Joe Biden stuff. He really does love reaching out and working with Republicans, but it's the elitist Republicans. It's not the regular run-of-the-mill, average Joe, working class guy. It's like, the people who he can work with on NAFTA and TPP and outsourcing deals and wars and bank deregulation. And that's the problem here. And by the way, this is what Joe Biden's record shows. It's what it shows, and it's why so many lefties have a serious issue with voting for him and can't support him, is because they know that whenever there was a consequential, pivotal decision in his career, he sided with the right. And he is corporate to his core. So, in principle, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to Republicans, reaching out to independents, reaching out to everybody who's gettable. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you should do as a politician. But how you do it matters. The details matter. And in the case of Biden, he's of course going to do it in the exact wrong way to, meet the elitists on their turf, not meet working class people on theirs.